one box of bits has arrived. Unfortunately only one. The other parcel hasn't arrived. Got held up with customs by the look of it. I had to go online and sign some documents and pay a bill for the customs clearance, which I haven't had to do before, but anyway. Let's get in and have a look at what we got here. Okay, so there's the two cross members sitting one behind the other. That's the original, the standard one. This is the modified one. So when I put the level there and take a measurement, we've got approximately 20 mil, maybe not quite 20 mil lower. So I suppose the next step is I'll sit that under the car and see how it looks, and then I want to do something about getting some paint on it. Quite a nice bit of fabrication here. Looking at the welds, I could never get a weld looks that good. So that's good. Okay, so we're going to go down under the car and have a bit of a look now. So I've got the cross member in place and I've sat the steering rack on top of it there. Just trying to hold the phone without dropping it. So what I've seen here, the steering rack, there's quite a bit of room in front, so I need to move the engine back about 5 or 10 mil because it's actually, the sump is touching on the rear side of the cross member on the passenger side. So the motor also needs to come over towards the driver's side by about 5 mil and go back by probably 10 mil, and then I think everything will be good. And hopefully that will also rectify, there's a bit of a problem where down here, if I can get the, just there you can see the gearbox is really close, so hopefully that'll pull this away a little bit, but then by moving it back it might sort of give me the problem, but you know, that's nothing that can't be fixed up. Well, I've given the cross member a sandblast and a good rough up so that the paint should stick. So I'm going to put a coat of etch primer on that to protect it, and for a start then obviously I'm going to put some 2-pack satin black over it to finish it off. And also, while I was at it, that cross member I took off from behind the gearbox, I gave it a blast, and I'm going to give the back side of that a good coat while I'm going. So I'll work on doing that now. Well, there it is, one cross member, etched, primed and coated with a nice protective coating of satin black in a 2-pack, along with the pair of steering arms. So what I've been doing last night, yesterday afternoon, late yesterday afternoon and this morning, where I removed this piece from across here, I've just been tidying it all up. A couple of little holes. I've just got a couple still to do. So I'm just trying to get that all ready, so that this engine mount, the rear gearbox mount can attach on there. Now I just started to tidy up the original rear gearbox mount now, so I'm just debating whether I'm going to modify this, or whether it's actually going to work, or whether I'll just make a new one up myself. Now the other thing I did, the gearbox sits very high up in the tunnel, and which meant the mounting position is up high in the tunnel. So what I've actually done, I've actually taken this adjustable piece in the center here that's got the bush on it, and I've actually turned it upside down and put the rubber mount on the top, and that moves it right up. And what I saw, in fact, was only a couple of days after I started trying to sort of work out what I was doing, and I'd sort of made up my mind that the gearbox needed to be positioned right up high. I actually saw there's a guy that does quite a few of the Mazda gearbox conversions for people, and he had a photo posted online. He'd actually cut this and actually moved that in about an inch so that this can sit in further, but I'm not a real big fan of sort of cutting in and doing that, and I can't see that there's anything wrong with what I've done here by turning that around and so that it moves that up. So I've also done a few modifications to the gearbox tunnel that I think will get my motor and gearbox sitting right. The gearbox was touching on the passenger side. I think I've got that sorted, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to drop this over, put the motor back in place, and it will be in the exact right place. So then I can get my exact positioning for this and start fabricating that mount. So yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this water rail off here and replace it with this one, which is the correct one for the application. I tried to do it while it was in the car the other day, but I pulled these 4 bolts, and obviously there's bolts behind here that are still holding it, so I'm going to have to remove this cover off the back here. And if I remember right, I think I've actually got to buy a blocking plate to go over this section here. But anyway, let's get in and get this off. It's all a little bit of a learning curve. As I say, I've watched a lot of videos, but particularly when you're old and forgetful, I can't remember everything, but it does sort of ring a bell that there's a plate to go there that's got to be put on. I just want to make sure this is on, so that when I put the motor back up in there, I'm hoping that this is going to be the final time that I've had to lift it out and put it back in. Didn't realise that scraper's got gunk on the back of it. Well, like I said, it's very well stuck. Modern day adhesives are very, very good. belly there. There we go. Yeah, just as I suspected, two in there. Ah, look at that. Perfect. If only I'd have brought the right adapter back with me. One of these days it'll be sorted out. Well, that's a good reason why it wouldn't come out the other day. Oh, she's still stuck solid. Very solid. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. So anyway, we can get that on there. Now, I've got some bolts that came out of that, but they are way too long for this housing, and you've always got to be careful that you don't have your bolts bottoming out in the hole and causing more drama. So I'll just hopefully go and find a couple of bolts more suited, making sure I've got all the clearances that I need. Get the right socket, get the direction going correctly. Okay, there we go. So I might put this other one all back together temporarily. Okay. Okay, well hopefully this is the final trial fitting of the engine. I seem to have fixed my problems. I've got clearance down around the bell housing now on both sides. I've got clearance down the bottom there between the sump and the crossmember. I'm just having a little trouble getting the extractors to fit right in. I think the very end little piece of the extractors needs to actually just be bent down a little bit. It's just hitting on the floor. So this is the lower part of the extractors, and as you can see what I'm talking about there, it's touching on the floor. So I think that little section there just may need to be, just have a kink downwards. And that's just not allowing me to sort of bolt them right into place. So I don't think that's any big deal. Very close here where the heater is going to come out of the firewall. Very close for those hoses to go on. But I know I've seen other guys on YouTube that they do get them on, but it takes a little bit of fiddling. So okay, so plenty of clearance there. I've got the new water rail on the back there. And I'll just get the so that's the other piece of the water rail that will go on there and comes up to the front to go up to the radiator. I'm just trying to work out where the thermostat goes. I'm wondering, doesn't really look like there's a recess there anywhere for a thermostat, so that's something I'm going to have to check out. And so now down underneath, I've got the gearbox sitting nice and centrally in the tunnel. I've marked where that's going to sit, so that I guess I'm going to have to tip the car back on its lid and make up some mountings for that to attach to the floor. And I've made a mark also where I'm going to fit that back in there. So anyway, it's all looking good. A lot of fiddling, but anyway, hopefully it'll be worth it all in the long run. So I was down here taking a photo the other day, so like I was saying, I've got the back of the gearbox here centered nicely, and I'm just working out to mount this rear gearbox mount. Now the way it's sitting there at the moment, it's actually, this section is sitting over this way. It needs to come over about 30 mil. So I'm just looking at doing something with this center section here so that I can get that over so it just looks more uniform. And okay, well, I've got the new piece that I've modified here. So I just folded up that and welded it. So now let's see if we can get it on here without too many dramas. Well, at least the bolt holes are in the right spot, so that's a good start. Bit difficult to get to the top of these ones. That side's not so bad, but this side's terrible. It's one of those spots where you need, got him. It's almost one of those spots where you need a specially bent spanner. Used to have quite a lot of those in the old days. Okay, so okay, well that's looking much better in a central position. Only problem is I've got a bit of a problem here with it rubbing. I'm going to have to just modify it a little bit there. That's a shame. I thought that was going up far enough. Okay. Okay, well that's going to be... Pity I went and welded it all before I checked. Okay, so I've just put that piece that I've made back onto the bottom of that rubber mount. And so this is the other piece here now. And that goes up nicely. And so that's going to have these couple of bits of 3mm plate welded to the floor on each side there. Now I can't find where the other one's gone. I had it here only a minute ago. There it is. And that's sitting much more centrally in the tunnel. So let me get a couple more nuts on here. It's always got to be difficult when you've got the camera running. One bolt there, put another bolt on this end. Okay. Starting to get rather cold this afternoon. Okay. Okay, well that's pretty good. So I just need to get my marker and make some marks there where they're going to sit, and then tomorrow or the next day I can get out here and start fabricating something to go into there to hold all that. So that's good. That side's just got to go up a little bit more. I'm just going to have to extend the bolt hole that I've drilled in this plate that I made. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to bring this video to a close here. I've remanufactured that bracket that goes in the middle there to hold that rubber gearbox mount, and I'm quite happy with that, but I'm going to trim it back a little bit here because it's just hanging down a little bit low. But yeah, I think I'll call it a day on this video and wind it up here. And so when we come back in the next video, it's going to be a matter of, I'm still not sure whether I'm going to be able to get these to actually work going in there, if I need to shorten them down a bit, or whether I'm just going to make some new ones. But either way, I might use these captive nuts, like this can come out of there. But anyway, I'm going to clean all that up and we'll have a look at that. But I'm a little bit sorry that the other day when I was knocking this panel up that I didn't actually get the camera out and film me, you know, cutting the steel and folding it and welding it. But sometimes, you know, when I get a few minutes to come out here and do something, it's sort of a matter of, am I going to get it done, or like if I spend all the time mucking around setting the camera up and everything, I might not end up getting much done. So anyway, I'll probably take a bit more film as I'm making up something to go in here to hold the bracket in place. So anyway, that's all good, and as I always say, if you like the video, give us a like, and if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe, and we'll keep them coming.